Fala galera do G-Fight, Diego Ribas, direto de Las Vegas, com uma entrevista super especial. Chris Weidman, thank you for your time, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I appreciate it.
Better now, better now. Chris, you're fighting another Brazilian again, another Brazilian. Um, when did you get the call? What's kind of surprise for you when, like, for having Bruno Silva as opponent?
Not really crazy surprise. After losing to Brad Tavares, being off for 2.5 years before that, I mean, whoever the UFC gives me, I'm gonna, take. I don't have much leverage to say, hey, I want big fights or big names. I'll take whatever. I got offered the fight in Atlantic City. That's where I started my career. So initially, I go, oh, you know what? That's probably a cool place because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do as far as fighting or retiring and stuff after my last fight. But I got offered the fight in Atlantic City. I go, oh man, that could be a cool spot to retire. Let's do it. And but then I've been feeling so good, man. I didn't know if the motivation was going to be good. I didn't know if my body was going to be able to handle it great. But I've been feeling awesome. So I don't see this as my last fight anymore. I feel like I'm reinvigorated. I started taking the supplements, Trinity Gold. It's called, you can get it at trinitygoldnutrition.com. You can get it in Brazil. It's all natural, helps with pain and inflammation. It's been saving me. So if you got any issues in your body, I highly recommend it. It's not bad for you to take. It's like having food, and it really works. So, and I'm not making much money with it. It's the margins aren't great, but I wanted to get it out to people because it's really helped me a lot, and that's what kind of allowed me to get back into fighting and um, feeling good going to this fight.
Good to hear that. The reason, okay, because like a few months ago, I saw your interview with Daniel Cormier, and you said that this fight maybe would be your last fight. Depends on how the camp, because that interview was before the camp. Now the camp's done, and I gotta ask you, how was the camp? How did you feel your body? Was there any moment during the camp that you thought, oh, maybe that is my last fight?
No, and I was very open to being this my last fight, um, in the UFC, but I've been feeling great, so it's hard for me, when I still have more in the tank and I feel I have more potential to show the world and, give the world, my best abilities. It's hard for me to say, oh, I'm done. I don't want to have regrets. So I've been feeling really good. I feel like I have more to offer to the sport. And with a big win, on Saturday night, there's some big options for me. So, um, yeah, right now I feel great, and yeah, better than I thought I was gonna feel for sure.
Oh, it's so good to hear that, Chris. One question that I have, and how do you like choose your fights from now on? You were saying about Atlantic City. You were offered the Atlantic City fight. The card makes sense for you, right? And then I don't know. How do you choose? Are you willing for big names or big cards like UFC New York stuff like that? How do you see your future?
Well, if I go out there on Saturday night and I look great, with a win, I think it opens me up for some big name fights, some fun fights, and yeah. So then we'll take one at a time and see what ends up happening.
Makes sense. Makes sense. There's another interview with a podcast called "Won't Back Down" that you said something about in your last fight you broke your leg, right? Again, and
Again,
we
yeah.
we all know how hard was the process after a fight against Raya Hall. We had this Anderson Silva when he fought you, and it's so harsh to see these moments. And how is the mental process? Now talking about your last fight. How was the mental process? Is there something in your mind as a competitor, as a fighter, that oh man, there's another chance. Maybe I'm gonna hurt my leg or stuff like that. How do you deal with that?
I do not want to hurt my legs this time. So I'm very prepared on the last one, and I know it's stupid looking back, but hindsight's always 2020. I didn't think he was gonna be leg kicking me like crazy. I didn't we didn't see him as a big leg kicker. One of the problems was I didn't really watch too much tape. I saw him more as like a boxer and great takedown defense. So I wanted to engage, in a stand-up battle, and then obviously look for takedowns. But when he was kicking and kind of and then circling and running, it did throw me off. And I did take the first round, consciously to kind of get a feel of being back in there after being 2.5 years off. I knew it was going to take some time, and then as I was kind of getting a feel of being in there, he was taking out my legs, and I wasn't reacting well to him. I couldn't kick back like I thought I could. My body wouldn't allow me to do it. So going into this fight, I'm very understanding that these guys are going to be targeting my legs now, and I have to be prepared for that. And so I'm way more prepared for that this time.
Perfect. It's kind of impossible to, as Brazilian, to see you and don't remember your great fights against Brazilians like Lyoto Machida, Anderson Silva, Ronaldo Jacaré. You're facing another Brazilian. Do you have any special connection with Brazil since you got the belt against a Brazilian or stuff like that? How is your relation with Brazil? Do you know something? Do you speak something in Portuguese? How is your relation with Brazil?
Listen, I've been to Brazil twice, and I always loved how much love I got there. When I did all the press conferences and stuff with Anderson Silva, I was blown away by the amount of support I had in Brazil and the love I got there, and I have a big spot in my heart for Brazil. I love the fans. I love their passion and the way they support their people, but also how they support, just guys who are humble and tough. They really are just great fans. And so, yeah, there's no issues with me in Brazil. Even though, there was a time when I went on my run, after I beat Vitor Belfort, they'll call me the Brazilian Slayer or the Brazilian Killer and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, just the best guys in the world in my weight class happen to be Brazilians. So those are the guys I had to beat,
Yeah, you had to face them. Yeah, I mean, I'm from Brazil, so the fans, they love warriors, they love true fighters. Of course, if you fight a Brazilian, they're gonna tell you you're gonna die, like you vai morrer,
Vamos.
vai morrer. Yeah. But other than that, you have a lot of fans there. And just to be clear, once and the last one about this, your legs 100%. You are 100%. You're not planning to retire this Saturday, and do you have in mind how many years or how many fights do you still want?
I mean, I'm at the tail end of my career. We'll take a fight at a time and see how I feel mentally and physically, and we'll see where this ends up going. So yeah, I don't really have any like plans on exactly how many years and how many fights and all that. We'll just take one at a time.
Perfect. And talking about Bruno Silva, how do you match up skill by skill? How do you match up this fight?
He's a gritty dude who likes to come forward, and he throws hard in the pocket. He kicks as well. More of a stand-up fighter. I know he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he's definitely struggled with some guys on the ground. So I think I'm confident everywhere with him. I think I've gone against better strikers and I've gone against better grapplers. But I can't discount anything from this guy. He's going to come to fight. So I just got to be prepared everywhere. And I'm obviously trying to just break him, mentally, physically, and get him exhausted and win the fight.
So looks like we're gonna see a war Saturday night.
I hope not. I just want to completely dominate him. I don't want him to touch me, so we'll see what happens.
Makes sense. That's a good strategy. Chris,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you on full screen right now. If you don't mind, send a message for Brazilian fans and answer the question why they should watch your fight last Saturday night.
What's up, Brazil? Long time no see. You guys have always been great, whether you're rooting against me or not. I just love the passion and everything that you guys bring to the game as fans. I think you guys are probably some of the best fans in the world, and that's saying a lot. You know, listen, I have a lot of history with Brazil. I beat, you know, some of your greats, and it's always been an honor to share the cage with your guys because they're very tough and very, very, very good fighters. And so I do it again here on Saturday night at 39 years old. So make sure you watch. Let's see what old Weidman's got.